Hi Capricorn, this is your forecast for the month of October 2016. This is a general reading for Capricorn Sun, Capricorn Rising, or Capricorn Moon. If you have a different rising or moon sign, you might find watching those videos helpful or more informative for you. Please remember that these are general readings, and so they may not apply to everyone. If you would like a reading that is specific to you, please visit my website at thealchemistastrologer.com, provided on the link at the upper corner. If you have visited the site before, please clear your browser's cache for the schedule button to function properly. Now, normally, Capricorn, I would say my thank yous at the end of the reading, but this month I want to start with a thank you because I've received a lot of great support from you and a rise in my subscriptions. So please know that this is mutual love and that I will make every effort to give you my personal best. So Capricorn, the first week of October begins with the Ten of Pentacles. So maybe there's a major life transition that is taking place for you. It could be that some of you are dealing with major corporations, or you are making some purchases. Maybe that's some real estate or some kind of business deal, or you're investing your money in some way. Maybe it's connected to some kind of property, or, like I said, a comfortable home. But financial security is important. There may be some strong family ties or ties to family wealth. But this is a concern for anything that was started long ago. It has connections to the past, the history, and an enduring legacy into the future. So maybe you have a concern for a parent this week, or maybe you're dealing with issues connected to inheritance or trusts or pensions or taxes. Anything that connects to your financial and material abundance. Now, for some of you, you'll be dealing with disputes within the family, and maybe there are issues of lost inheritance or financial losses. It could be some family problems, or maybe some family members disapprove of you in some way. There could be the illness of a parent, or worry about someone older. Maybe there are domestic problems. Some of you may be facing a possible lawsuit. And hopefully, there won't be any deaths in the family. But this could be a week where there may have been some unsound financial speculations, and where it's necessary for you to restructure your finances. Now, some of you are simply breaking away from tradition, and this may ultimately result in some kind of family estrangement. But generally, when this is operating positively, you will feel a great sense of responsibility toward other people. You care for people, you care about situations, and you want to do what's best to make everybody gain a sense of security. So some of you could be dealing with people in connection to the future. Maybe you're talking about taxes, or you're going over your will, or your insurance, or your savings program. And for some of you, if you have your own business, maybe you decide to move into other areas to expand your business in some way. Some of you will be interested in even selling your business. Now, for some of you, health issues have come up, and this card is telling you that you need to be more aware and to take better care of yourself. So either you or someone close to you, you may have some issues this week. Could be allergies, could be situations connected to food, or it could be some things that ordinarily wouldn't bother you, and now those things are creating some kind of medical issue for you. if you or someone you are connected to, a loved one, has a medical condition, this might be the week where you have to pay some attention to that. For others of you, this is focused on finance, and this could be a week where you're expected to pick up the slack for someone else. For whatever reason that is, you're having to take the load of someone else's financial responsibilities. For some of you, maybe you were hoping, you applied for a loan of some sort or some kind of credit, and maybe you're turned down, or it ends up that you're having to actually pay more for something. But this could be opportunities connected to family, and there could be, either way, there could be some luck with regard to your finances. You know, for some of you, this is a good week to buy a lottery ticket. This is a week that is ripe with financial possibilities. And some of you may decide to take a risk with regard to your investments. For others of you, this card is saying you need to be frugal. Now, the second week, you have the Knight of Wands. And so this could be a fire sign that you're dealing with. Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. There are some rapid comings and goings this week. Now, this fire sign could be male or female. Those signs could be sun, moon, or rising. It could be you know, taking on the traits of the Knight of Wands, or another person or a situation. But this is a card that says someone is raring to go. Maybe they love a challenge, or maybe this is someone you're involved with. This could be a lover for you, and somebody who's very charismatic, very exciting, someone that likes to have a good time, and they know how to show you a good time. They've got a good sense of humor. Maybe they're very active, very energetic, but also this person is not necessarily committed. He doesn't necessarily want to settle down. Now, for some of you, you are just on a quest. You're on a mission. Maybe you're involved in some new projects. You could be an entrepreneur. You could be involved in enterprise. Maybe you're in some kind of negotiation, or maybe you're being a competitor, or maybe you're just walking your own path and listening to the beat of your own drum. Some of you are creating a revolution. You're saying, hey, we got to do something different here. Let's make some changes. Now, others of you, maybe you're traveling. Some of you are changing your residence. But again, there are high energy situations. Things are moving at a fast pace. Now, this could play out as some discord or some quarrels for you. And this could be a week where you either suddenly begin or suddenly end some kind of romantic pursuit, or some endeavor, or some relationship. This knight is, he's very fired up. Now, when he's not operating in the positive, he's charming, but he's not necessarily trustworthy. Or maybe he's very argumentative, he or she. This person can be, just really caught up in conflict, or, because they like to have fun, they don't want to commit. There could be issues of being promiscuous. Or maybe this is somebody putting out a lot of promises, but they're not delivering. Or this person, this is fire, and their energy, they blow with the wind. They feel strongly about this, they're passionate, and then they're on to something else. So this could be somebody who's not necessarily responsible, and somebody who's a bit of an opportunist. So, hopefully it's operating in the positive. And so if that's the case, for many of you, this could be a romantic interest where you actually go out on a date with somebody. Maybe somebody asks you suddenly, and you hadn't been expecting it, and you decide, yeah, why not? I'll do it. Or maybe you make that first move. Or if you're already coupled with someone, maybe you take that to the next level. Or maybe you're involved with somebody and it's a friendship, and now you're like, well, let's do this. Let's become a couple. But for others of you, you're stepping out on a limb with this person, and you're taking a romantic risk that ultimately you're going to regret, and not too far into the distant future. Now, some of you, maybe you're fired up because, you have come to recognize your own value, your own worth, and maybe, you're taking some time out to take care of yourself. Or maybe you are getting involved in situations where it's very social, it's fun, it's adventurous, you're partying. Or some of you simply, or this person, simply needs to take a time out and recognize the beauty of what they have inside. Now, the third week, you have the 8 of Pentacles. So you're working hard. You're working on something. You're being very diligent. Maybe you're paying your bills. Maybe you're attending to some details, or you're really focused on managing your money. For others of you, this is work. Maybe you're learning something, or you're getting some kind of training or education. You're acquiring some skills. You're trying to improve yourself in some way, and you're focused on your material security, your emotional security, and largely this is a labor of love. This is something you want to do, and you want to make good use of your talents when you do it. Some of you are self-employed, and maybe you're working for the family business, or maybe you're working for a large corporation. This could be a week where, again, you're focused on your security. Maybe you're preparing for the future in some way. Maybe there's something, some luxury item or huge purchase that you want to make. Maybe you're trying to build up your savings. Maybe you're being cautious about your investments. You're looking carefully at the details, and being careful about where you spend your money so that you can achieve some kind of goal. Some of you are getting a new job this week, or you're entering a new field of work, or you've decided to leave the company and become self-employed. Others of you, you're working on maybe a product, and so craftsmanship and your skills are important this week. Now, if this is negative, then, you're trying to get by cutting corners. You're not putting in your due diligence, and you may be producing something of poor quality, or maybe you're not using your skills to the best of your abilities, or maybe you're trying to take the easy way out, or there's a lack of commitment to something. Some of you maybe you've lost a job and you're unemployed, or you're banking on something that's offering you just a false sense of security, or you're working on something that's just quick. It's short-term income. Some of you are wasting up your money, or maybe you didn't get enough of the education that you needed in order to move further ahead. Some of you, there's a sense of entitlement. Now, for others of you, you feel as if you're stuck in a rut. That there's some repetitive behavior. You're doing the same thing over and over and over. So for many, though, this is going to be a week where whatever comes up, maybe you're facing some challenges, you're dealing with some security issues, whether that's financial or emotional. But knowing what you're facing, you're fired up, you're ready to succeed, and you're determined to move ahead. So this could be a week where you're actually coming up with some strategies. You're working on ways to increase your material foundation. And you're taking a more active role. You're becoming hands-on about where your money goes and how you can create the kind of future that you envision for yourself. So this could be a week where you decide you're going to take on that second job, or you're going to do a side business in addition to your regular job, or you're going to really work on saving some money. Some of you may get a bonus this week. You may get a promotion, or maybe you decide, I deserve more money, and so I'm going to go out there and get an interview. I'm going to look for a higher paying job. But this week you're taking steps, to invest in your health, to invest in your finances, and to improve that. Now, for others of you, something is going to come up, I'm sorry to say, that's going to, take a bite out of your finances. Any money that you saved up, that could be depleted by some kind of an emergency or something that you have to take care of. And you may suddenly realize, I'm in trouble here. My job is threatened, my security, maybe there's some setbacks on the job. Maybe there's a medical issue that's creating this, unease. Or maybe somebody close to you is sicker than you had actually suspected. For others of you, you are in a rut. You're involved in repetitive behaviors. Maybe you're nitpicking. You're too focused on the details. You're coming up with all these petty grievances, and maybe you're just seeking to serve yourself in ways that work against you. You too many self-indulgences, too much self-gratification, too much living in the present without concern for the future. So, you could be, again, working to improve your financial situation, to regain your confidence emotionally, financially, health-wise. And so you may get some kind of success this week. You may get some recognition, or you may come to realize that you need to take a closer look and make some necessary changes. And these are based largely on the need for self-appreciation, self-worth, self-love. Now, the last week you have the Seven of Cups. And so, you're hoping for something. There's a lot of wishful thinking, perhaps. Or for some of you, there's some confusion. There's a lack of focus, a lack of direction, some uncertainty before you. You're having to make a difficult choice, and you're not sure of exactly what to choose. There are a lot of illusions floating out there for you. You may be looking at several options and they all have some kind of appeal, but obviously they're not all going to work out. They don't all prove to be valuable for you in some way. Some of you are getting some psychic impressions. You're receiving something mentally. Some of you may be feeling mentally or emotionally overwhelmed. If you have health issues, you could feel a little bit under the weather this week. Some of you are going to decide to deal with your issues by escapist behavior. Now, maybe you're drugging or you're drinking or whatever it is, however you escape. Maybe you're sleeping too much. There could be where you're putting your energies in too many places, and maybe it's because you can't think clearly, and maybe you've made some decisions and you're wrong in your thinking. Maybe you're being impractical, and maybe you're allowing your emotions to dominate your rational thought. Now, this could be driven by fear of success, or maybe some false promises that you've gotten, or some opportunities that you missed out on. But this would be a time for you to set your priorities and make some realistic plans for yourself to try to gain some clarity. Because in some area of life, particularly your relationships, you're going to find out that you either that you weren't clear on someone. Either you gave them too much credit or too little. So situations are going to force you to reevaluate and go back over some things, one or more of your relationships, and rethink those relationships. And for some of you, one small thing is going to could possibly bring the house of cards tumbling down. Now, others of you, you just need to prioritize. You need to rearrange some situations. You need to get clear on what's most important and move forward from there. And if you do, you will find that you've got extra time, that you manage to take care of the things that you need to in short order. This could be a week where something, you may turn around a situation, something that you felt was going downhill or going down the drain could suddenly turn around and become some kind of winning proposition for you. Now, for some of you, there's been a lot of confusion, and as a result, you may end up having to make an apology or make an excuse for yourself, or you may have to put your energy in several directions. You might have to substitute for somebody at work, or you may have to do more of the responsibilities at home. So you may have to take on more. And also, again, because this is a card of daydreaming, wishful thinking, hoping, you may be painting a picture that's not necessarily true. You may be wearing some rose-colored glasses. You may wish things were a certain way, and you may be trying to convince everyone around you that it's that particular way, but the reality could be far different for you. The truth could be entirely different than what you are projecting. So the longer you are denying your issues, the things that you choose not to confront, the more difficult it is, the more difficult it's going to become for you to focus on things that you do enjoy. Not confronting your issues, not tying up your loose ends is going to be a distraction for you in some way. And you may feel as if you're working hard, and yet situations cause you to feel as if you're a day late and $1 short. So you may be trying to do too much. You may be putting your energy in too many places, and it's costing you rather than helping you. If you had just taken a time out to deal with things when you should have, in the manner that you should have, and more realistically rather than idealistically, things might have worked out a lot better. For some of you, you're dreaming, and you're dreaming of maybe, traveling or expanding your dreams in some way. You may be dreaming of pushing boundaries, or maybe you're coming up with ideas and options because you need to try something new. So for some of you, this could be, a lack of commitment to the company that you're working for, and you're trying to come up with new ideas for your work. Some of you may be working on something creative, and you may find that your creative powers are more enhanced. You may be working on something that has to do with your mental health, your emotional health. Some of you may be working, with alcohol. Maybe you're thinking of doing work bartending, but there seems to be a lack of commitment, or maybe, there's a passion for your work, and maybe it's something that's creative, or maybe a company is dissolving and you're losing your job. So a lot of things could be up in the air. Either you're hopeful about something and you're working towards it, or you're confused about something and it's costing you in some kind of way. Now, this Knight of Wands, your intuition is heightened, but there is a timing issue this month, and something is off with that timing. So you're confronted with issues where you thought something was a good idea and it was going to pan out and work for you, and ultimately that falls apart. Or you kind of threw something out there and thought, well, that's probably won't work. And lo and behold, that is the something that takes off. So it could go either way for you. Now, the underlying energy is this Four of Cups. So there could be some dissatisfaction going on this month. Or maybe you're re-evaluating some things and you may be pulling back from the world in order to come up with some ideas. There's a feeling of discontent. Now, again, you may be turning inward. There could be an empty feeling or this lack of motivation or that something is missing. Some of you are refusing to do something. You're not liking what's being offered. You're not accepting something. You may be missing opportunities in the process of doing that. You may be doing that because you're depressed, or you may withdraw or isolate yourself in some way. Some of you are just flat bored. You want something new and you're trying to envision something different for yourself. This could be, waiting for something that's going to give you a sense of fulfillment. You need to come out of a rut for some of you. So it may be important for you to take a leap of faith. Maybe, renew your faith in yourself or other people or a situation or all of those. Something in your life is making you feel either very anxious and dissatisfied, or you feel a sense of satisfaction. You feel creatively inspired and you feel good. And so in which case you're refusing things because you don't need anything. You've got everything that you could ever want. You're content. So, this is going to be a month of a blend of things, that are going to connect to both your material and your emotional situation. And so you're going to be very focused on the people, the situations that you feel somehow contribute to your sense of well-being. And you may be, when you look at the big picture, you may see things that other people don't see. Other people may be making suggestions, to you in connection to your security. But you have foresight to see that, well, if I were to make that move, the consequence of that might be this. And that's not something I necessarily want to contend with. So you're able to see a larger picture than maybe some other people that you're involved with. And this is going to allow you to diffuse any potential problems or make your plans to move ahead. So, for those of you who are feeling happy about your job, you feel a sense of satisfaction about your material well-being and your relationships, then for you, there are going to be a number of, pleasant possibilities for you to gain in some way with regard to your material security. And you're going to feel as if emotional satisfaction is within your reach. But for those of you who feel a sense of anxiety, self-doubt, uncertainty about both your present and your future, you're going to be reviewing some of the choices that you've made and some of the behavior that you have participated in. And you're going to be wondering just how smart those choices really were. So during this period, it may be difficult for you to relax, for you to follow advice, for you to seek out assistance, especially if you feel like you can't get everything done that you need to, or you have issues that are unresolved that you can't seem to come up with a solution for. You may be in denial about something, or maybe you're taking too much for granted. And some of you may be refusing to believe that a situation could change, or you may have trouble believing that, in fact, the situation already has changed. You just haven't come to terms with that. So this is going to be a month where your decisions are driven by the need for personal security, for emotional belonging. And you're going to be looking at your relationships, your partnerships, whether they're serving you or they're harming you in some way. And that's both personal and professional. So Capricorn, I hope you enjoyed this reading. I would greatly appreciate your subscriptions, your likes, your kind comments. For those of you who have already offered your support, again, thank you. I'm grateful and committed. Have a wonderful October, and I look forward to speaking with you next month.